gonna put myself now as well. And also one more thing. Myself now as well. And also one more thing.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final round of IVDC. I am your host, Jonathan Tiny Warbe, and we are here for an exciting showcase because it is still anyone's game to win the final grand prize of this season. There's a Moza wheel, then you got the handbrake for third place and the shifter for second. We got guys here at Circuit of Americas getting ready to show down and throw down. All right, during this track, you're gonna have one outer zone right off the rip. Then they're gonna go through a little manji section where there's 2, 3, and 4 inner clips going all the way through and then stretching out to an outer zone towards the end of the track, and then they're slinging it all in there to the final inner clip. This track is very high speed and technical for some of these drivers, and it's going to be a really exciting chase run for each of these drivers. So I'm excited to see how these battles come out and how these guys perform out here. Gonna be a wild run today because we have our top 32 coming out here, and we are going to be starting off our battle with Alexei Avakov and Arsen. Getting ready for them, waiting for the lights right off the rip. Alexei Avakov is in that R34. You got that BMW. That's Arsen coming in, trying to set a blaze on this track. Alexei Avakov fills out that first out of zone. Arsen is struggling to trying to keep that proximity right off the rip. Alexei is just using that momentum. Get a little bit of a track cut from Arsen, and here comes Alexei. A little bit of contact made on that inner clip, and it looks like in the chase he is struggling to keep that proximity all the way through into this inner clip, around this little horseshoe, going all the way around into this final outer zone, all the way to the end of the track. A little bit of a sloppy run from Arsen at their chase. Arsen P. We're getting into lights. Arsen is going to be in the lead. Alexei is going to be in the chase. The start of our top 32 battles right here. Arsen looks like he's 2, 3 tires off, 4 tires off. It's going to look like a big old 0 from the lead run. Quick deciding factor for these challengers. Alexei Avakov is going to continue on and finish his lap. Huge upset right there. As we're going to be moving on in our bracket. Alexei Avakov did qualify first in this bracket from yesterday's qualifications. Now we're going to have Arsen K versus Mikhail. Mikhail is in that S chassis, and Arseni is going to be in the lead with that BMW. Beautiful initiation from Arseni, keeping a mid-slow line on that first out of zone. And Mikhail is just staying unfazed and trying to keep on the door of Arseni, kind of falling back on this Manji section. Arseni is doing a good job. He's a little bit too deep in a couple of those inner clips, but he's tire dropping on that outer zone, diving into this final inner clip. Here comes this big outer zone. This is where Mikhail could gain that proximity all the way into that final outer zone. A little bit tamed run from Mikhail. And now we're going to have Arseni come out here in the chase to see how he performs. Mikhail coming in here. Nice initiation. Arseni struggled a little bit right off the rip on that initiation. Wasn't really in that pocket. Was cutting the track a little bit to keep that proximity. Mikhail overshoots that inner clip and gets himself offline. And then Mikhail is just filling out that outer zone going into this final inner clip. That big correction that he had to do to get back on track is going to be a deciding factor. It's looking like Arseni is getting the win on that one. You have Alexander versus Alec. Alec is in that IBDC public car, that BMW. You got Alexander in that 890 Supra. Underneath that hood is a BMW. But here we go. Alexander with a nice big old flick going into that first outer zone, and then just using that momentum to carry his speed all the way through. Oh no. It looks like something went wrong. Then he had a straighten on that one. We're gonna have these drivers go back out here. Alexander is gonna be in the chase. Definitely zeroed that first run, that lead lap. And we have Alec coming out here. Alec coming in here. Nice initiation to that first out of zone. And some contact made from Alexander. But Alec is filling out the zone a little bit too deep on the fresh center clip, but he's still trying to finish out this lap. This will secure the deal for him. He can finish out that lap. There was some contact earlier in that lap from Alexander, and Alec is filling out each zone, looking like he's gonna be able to complete that lap all the way through to that final outer zone. Looks like it's going to be a one more time. All right, Alexander is going to be in the lead. Alec is going to be in the chase. There you go, Alexander coming from right to left. Nice initiation to that first out of zone. little bit of a bobble in that first outer zone, but he's filling it out going into this first inner clip. Money, huge speed from Alexander. And here comes Alec to gain some momentum, a little bit too much angle. Alexander is struggling, and Alec is trying to cut the line just a little bit to gain that proximity yet again. And going into this final outer zone, and Alexander is able to fill out each zone. Now we're gonna have Alexander out here in the chase. Alex is gonna be in the lead. Here we go. Oh, connection issues. It'll be a rerun. It's unfortunate that there is going to be a some stuff that would cause some reruns out here on the sim world compared to IRL, but we'll see if that connection issue persists through this lap. Wow. Alex does a nice initiation, and Alexander does a nice catch up with proximity right off the rip. Alec is doing a great job filling out each zone, staying as deep as possible all the way to each zone. A little bit of a tire drop on that inner clip, but now here comes Alexander trying to keep that proximity all the way through. Going into this final outer zone. Oh, there's a tire drop from Alec to the end of the track. And Alexander gets to win and moves on. We're going to be having a bye run right now with Andre. Andre is going to be showing us how this track should be ran. We're going to let him cook as you guys watch his bye run. A nice lap from my man Andre. Now we're gonna have our next battle. This is the top 16 battle of Group A. We have these guys battling all the way to the spot in the finals. So Alexei Avakov in the lead, and Arseni in the chase, coming in with a nice initiation. Alexei does a great job, and here comes Arseni trying to keep that proximity right off the rip. Alexei Avakov is just doing a fantastic job with speed, angle, and aggression through each of these inner clips. But here comes Arseni keeping that proximity all the way through. A little bit of a tire drop, but Alexei does a fantastic job on shallowing up some angle and then angling up on that outer zone going to this final inner clip. Alexei is doing a beautiful job in the lead, giving that door to Arseni, and Arseni is taking advantage of each zone that he can. Now we're gonna have them switch sides, battle to move on to the grade 8. Arseni coming out here. Nice initiation from Arseni using all of the track, but here comes Alexei just keeping that proximity right off the rip on that first outer zone. Arseni is doing a great job on stabilizing his car with that left foot braking. Snap into that inner clip. Snap again to that third inner clip. Oh no, sacrifice of the line to get that door to door all the way through that outer zone into this final inner clip. My goodness. Alexi is being very aggressive on this final outer zone and keeping doors all day long. Alexi gets the win and moves on to the grade 8. Beautiful job in the chase. A beautiful lead run as well. Here we go. We got Andre in the chase and Alexander in the lead. Alexander with the 890 Supra. Andre is in the S chassis, black drift livery coming in and trying to keep that proximity right in the first outer zone. Alexander does a great job on transitioning, using all of the track to keep as deep into each zone, filling them out, going in these chicanes all the way through this outer zone. Alexander does a good job filling it out. And we have Andre just trying to keep that proximity a little bit forward in the pocket in one of those outer zones. And he dives forward yet again. Alexander does tire drop on that final outer zone as well. I will see how the tides turn, as Alexander is going to be in the chase and Andre is going to be in the lead. Here's the 3-2-1 lights. Andre is going to be coming out there, guns blazing, using as much speed and momentum right off the rip. Flirting with disaster on that first outer zone. Possible tire drop on there. Andre is doing a good job with each zone, and Alexander is just trying to keep that proximity all the way through these chicanes all the way into this outer zone. Nice use of left foot braking, but there's some contact from Alexander. Oh no, and a huge bobble on that final outer zone as well. And Andre gets the win, moves on with a grade 8. Now we're gonna have the battle to determine out of this group A who's going to be moving on to the finals. Alexei Avakov in the lead, and Andre in the chase. When it moves on to the finals, Alexei Avakov comes in and fills out that first outer zone like a baller. Shot caller coming in to this inner clip. Boom. Here comes the second one. Bang. And the third one, gangster, all the way through these chicanes going to this outer zone. But Andre is keeping door to door all the way through into this final inner clip. A little bit of a door tap, nothing too personal on that one. He just wants to let him know that he is there all the way through. Andre does a great job in the chase. Now Alexei is going to be in the chase. Already knows how Andre performed because he felt him knocking on heaven's door on that one. Andre coming in with a nice initiation, filling out the outer zone. Not as deep as Alexei in that first outer zone, but he's keeping that proximity all the way through. Alexei is doing a beautiful job just diving into the pocket whenever he can. Going in this power alley of chicanes, and Andre is just filling out the zone, using his momentum. Still a little bit shallow. Tire drop on that outer zone to the final inner clip. Tapping that left foot brake to kind of keep himself right in there in the final outer zone. All the way through. My goodness. Alexei does a great job in the chase. Winner moves on to the finals. Judges are going to be looking at these replays to see what's going on. Who's going to be hanging out for the finals, getting ready. Probably put some practice laps in while the other drivers are competing. And it looks like it's going to be going to a one more time battle to move on, to see who moves on when and go to the finals. Wow, that's crazy. All right, we got our drivers lined up. Alexei Avakov in the lead. Andre coming in, diving right as soon as possible to keep that proximity. Alexei does a great job filling that first outer zone, keeping a mid-high line. Oh, a little bit of a correction from the chase from Andre, but he's still staying in drift. Cuts the track just slightly on that final power alley inner clip, but Alexei does a great job going into this final inner clip as well. And Andre is just fighting through, trying to stick as close as possible to the door, not letting the judges have to nitpick. We're going to have them switch sides. Here we go. Battle moves on. Winner moves on to finals. Andre does a great job using that Scandinavian flick going into that first outer zone, but it looks like a tire drop on that rumble strip. And oh no, huge swing from Andre, but Alexei struggles a little bit with a huge correction. Probably got a little bit too gripped up on there, and then he dives right into the pocket, gets door to door on his outer zone. A little bit of a bump from Alexei, but staying super aggressive all the way through to this final outer zone and staying right there, door to door, side to side. Wow. I think they are going to be going to the replay on that, folks. They're looking at the replay to see what happened, what caused the issues that happened on that lap, to see who made more mistakes and who will be moving on. Alexei does a great job in his lead lap, filling out each zone, doing very beautiful work as a lead driver. Just giving that door to Andre all the way through. I'm looking at the replay with you guys as we saw how aggressive from outer zone 1 to inner clip 1 Andre was. What it was insane, just being able to swing that car as aggressive as he could. It could be possibly a slowdown, but what the judges have on their replay is to see the momentum and see if that does deem fault for making Alexei have that huge bobble and correction. Man, they're looking tooth and nail. Do this replay. And it looks like they are coming with a decision right now. It looks like it's going to be another one more time battle. Seems like both drivers made equal or shared mistakes, had good runs for the most part in the lead and chase, but equally shared mistakes. They made it too close to call, and they need another one more time battle. And here he goes, Alexei Avakov in the lead. Our second one more time battle. Alexei Avakov coming in with a nice initiation. A little bit of a late to angle from Andre going in to this first inner clip. Money. Alexei is doing a great job just snapping to angle on each of these inner clips. Going all the way in to our second outer zone. Filling it out all the way through. Andre is just trying to keep that proximity in to this final inner clip and final outer zone. All the way through. A little bit forward in the pocket. But Alexei does a good job on being as smooth as butter. And here he comes, Alexei coming out here, being as super consistent as possible. And Andre is just fighting for dear life as well. Andre does a great job on that initiation, and Alexei is just keeping that proximity right off the rip, giving him that room to transition. And it looks like Andre went 2 tires off on that inner clip 1, but still fighting through. Here comes Alexei, just keeping that proximity and being as cool as a cucumber into this final inner clip all the way to this final outer zone. Andre is doing a great job giving them that lead run, but it looks like that tire drop did cause the decision. Alexei Avakov gets a win and moves on. And now we're going to get ready for our group. Second group, which is the bottom left of our bracket. We're going to see who is going to be going against Alexei Avakov in the final on the left side of this bracket. We have Daniel Andrejev coming up, as well as Gustavo Pereira. Gustavo! I remember that guy. Feels like it's been years. And then we have Artem Kolesnik, Stanislav Tarasov, Vadim Antropov. You're going to see a lot of familiar faces as I'm cracking open my liquid death right now to wet my palate. Liquid Death, sponsor me. Oh man, I'm just being as goofy as it can be. Ivan, I would love if you get me a Liquid Death sponsorship. I'm just letting you know. I'll give you a hug. Give you vodka. But just like watching these battles. It's been a hell of a weekend. Crazy battles on both ends of the world with Drift Masters and Formula Drift. Crazy events. Stanislav Tarasov, you're probably familiar with that name because he rocks that Ferrari and just starts shredding it up. You're gonna have a lot of familiar faces come out here. We have a Daniel Andrejev with that S chassis, that IRT livery, gonna be shredding it up. Very top-notch drivers on these in this group. Max is a not a new face, but he's pretty, we haven't seen him often here, but it looks like Daniel Andrejev is going to be getting a bye run, so he's going to moving on to the top 16. So it looks like Gustavo had some struggles getting the server. Oh, wait. I don't think it's going to be a bye run. Gustavo just came in the nick of time. Gustavo gets in here. Let's see how Gustavo comes in here to ruffle some feathers. Daniel Andrejev in the lead. Gustavo Pereira in the chase. Daniel Andrejev just hightails it right off the rip. Does a great job on the initiation. Here comes Gustavo coming in to try to keep that proximity and dive into the pocket. Nice transition from Daniel. And here comes Gustavo being as feisty as he can be to keep that proximity, using that nice throttle modulation, getting that 80 super going all the way in to the pocket of Daniel Andrejev, trying to steal that change to pay for the toll boost into this final outer zone. Oh my goodness, flirting with disaster on that outer zone was Gustavo. And now we're gonna have him come out here and put down a lead lap. Gustavo in the lead. Daniel Andrejev in the chase. Daniel Andrejev gives Gustavo some room so he could jumpstart. But man, Gustavo snaps right into that first outer zone. Nice angle. Little bit of a correction, but still fighting through, getting to that first inner clip. Second inner clip's good with huge angle. Third inner clip. Gustavo Ferreira is right there and keeping each zone in his pocket and trying to fill out each zone. Oh no, looks like a tire drop. My second outer zone going to this final outer zone is going to be very spicy from Gustavo. Another tire drop, but staying as flirtatious as he can be. But I don't think it was enough. Daniel Andrejev gets a win and moves on to the top 16. Now we have Artem Kolesnik versus Vitor or Vitor or Vito. Artem coming in with a nice initiation, filling out that first outer zone. Does a great job just keeping that momentum all the way through into this first inner clip, being as consistent as he can be. No change of angle really whenever he snaps to it. But it looks like a tire drop going into that outer zone 2. His final inner clip, beautiful. Here comes Vitor coming right into the pocket. It looks like he pushed Artem off track. on that final outer zone, Artem possibly could have been going off track already, but the judges will look at that replay as we see the second battle, or the second lap of this battle. Artem out here trying to get that nice initiation to dive right in and keep that proximity. I think he's being a little bit too cautious right off the rip. And that first in a clip, Vittor is going all the way through and filling out each zone's inner clips. Possible tire drop on that final inner clip of that power alley. Vittor is doing a beautiful job filling out each zones all the way into this final outer zone. Oh, a big tire drop, but still at angle. And it looks like Vittor gets a win. I think from what I'm thinking, they put Artem at fault for that contact. Here we go. Stanislav Tarasov in the lead. And Carroll in the chase. Stanislav Tarasov does a great job with that Ferrari to fill out their first outer zone. Diving into inner clip one. Beautiful. Nice angle. And it looks like Stanislav is doing a great job. Carroll is struggling at the chase to keep that momentum to dive into that pocket. And diving every which way, and it looks like a slinky effect throughout this whole lap. With him closing in proximity, losing proximity, kind of reminds me of that Toy Story dog when it's walking. You guys know what I mean. I can't even think of that dog's name now. What's that dog's name? I'll figure it out later. It'll probably pop in my head. And here we go. Carroll in the lead. Stanislav in the chase. Beautiful initiation from Stanislav, keeping that nice proximity and staying right there with him, mimicking the angle as much as possible in the line and just staying right there with Carroll. Closer proximity that Carroll was having, a more consistent outer zone 2 right here. What's his final under clip? Little bit slow and lazy transition from Stanislav, but he's still right there with him all the way through to the final outer zone and getting door to door. And it looks like Stanislav will get that win right off the rip. Now we have Max out here versus Vadim Antropov. Max Galieski. Galieski. You know what, Max? You let me know if I said your name right. Anyway, Max out here trying to push it out here and get into that first outer zone. Does a great job filling it out, keeping that midline. Wins that first inner clip. Beautiful transition and locking in that angle. Snaps into inner clip 2. Inner clip 3 is great. Vadim Antropov is struggling to keep that proximity and keeping that mirroring of angle. Max is doing a fantastic job on filling out each zone and not really correcting his angle. Maybe even adding more angle all the way through on some of the zones, but that was a beautiful lead run from Max. comes Max. He's going to be in the AAD Supra. He's in the chase. Vadim Antropov in the lead. Lights are green. Max is being super aggressive right off the rip. A little bit of a bobble, a little bit of a contact with Vadim Antropov, but still staying right in the fight. Transitioning a little bit late in the chase, but now he's mimicking the transitions of Vadim Antropov and diving right in the pocket and staying there. Use some left foot braking to stay right there in close proximity all the way through. Pouring on some angle so he can stay right there all the way through to the final outer zone. Door to door. And Mad Max gets to win. And we're seeing our bracket showing Daniel Andrejev versus Vitor, and then Stanislav Tarasov versus Max. Wow, this is interesting, because it seems like Stanislav Tarasov needs to get in the probably top 8, maybe final 4 to actually guarantee a spot in the podiums for the whole season. Here we go. Daniel Andrejev versus Vitor coming in. Daniel Andrejev fills out that first outer zone. Beautiful initiation from Daniel. Coming into his first inner clip in the lead. Does a great job on snapping to angle and keeping that proximity to each zone all the way through. And here comes Vitor trying to dive into the pocket as much as possible. It looks like he's now reeling him in and keeping him there, but then loses proximity and then dives back in, maybe to that final outer zone. Man, oh man. When you're seeing that proximity waver like that, it's looking like a big struggle for these drivers, especially when it comes looking down from the judge's booth. Vitor out here in the lead. Nice initiation. And here comes Daniel Andrejev just keeping that proximity right off the rip and staying right there with him. Slow transition with Vitor. Well, it looks like Vitor is trying to just get some speed so he can stay away from him. But then now filling out each zones. Beautiful zone right there from Vitor. Then dives a little bit too deep on that final inner clip. This final outer zone. Just flirt with the line all the way through. But Daniel Andrejev just keeps proximity throughout each zone. And Daniel Andrejev gets to win. Moves on. Now we have Max versus Stanislav Tarasov. There he is. Stanislav Tarasov is out here with that Ferrari. Max is with that A80 Supra. Can Max ruffle the feathers of Stanislav? Dives right into the pocket right off the rip. Stanislav Tarasov is just unfazed and just filling out each zones as much as possible. And Max is just matching angle, even pouring a little bit more angle but stay right there with him through each zone. Stanislav Tarasov goes a little bit too deep on that zone, but Max, oh no, makes a little bit of a mistake in the chase and bobbles it, but here he comes back into the pocket of Stanislav all the way through to that final outer zone. Here comes Max. He's going to be in the lead now. Stanislav is going to be in the chase. Beautiful initiation from Max. Keeping the mid to low line on that first out of zone, but then just trying to gain some momentum through into this inner clip. Inner clip 2 is great. Here's Stanislav Tarasov just keeping that proximity. And I try to match angle and mimic the lead driver. And beautiful outer zone 2. A little bit of a tire drop from Max though. Going into the final inner clip. Going to the final outer zone. And hucking it in there. But here's Stanislav Tarasov. Keep door to door all the way through. They're just going to be looking at this replay. Stanislav Tarasov gets the win. Moves on the battle against Daniel Andrejev. Stanislav is currently second place in the standings of this season. Daniel Andrejev is out here just trying to put a ruffle in his feather, but does a snappy initiation going into that first out of zone. Looking like his car is about to be three-wheeling on each zone, being super aggressive. Beautiful. Oh, some contact made from Stanislav. Didn't give him enough room on that transition. Daniel is just keeping that proximity to each zone as tight as can be and being really aggressive with each transition and locking in. And Stanislav is just trying to keep as close as possible to the lead driver. A little bit of contact made though. That could be the crucial point that gets him knocked out of the competition. Here we go. Andrejev is going to be in the chase. Stanislav fills out that first out of zone. Great job from him. Transition is beautiful from Stanislav, and he's just diving into each inner clip as clean as can be with that Ferrari, but it looks like a bobble from Daniel. But still, my goodness, like clockwork with Stanislav with that Ferrari, filling out each zone and being as clean as that livery is. Winner moves on to verse Alexei Avakov in the finals. It looks like Daniel Andrejev gets the win. Ruffles up the feather for Stanislav. And we're going to see how this bracket lines up on our next group coming out here. top right side of the bracket, we have Grigory Andreev, Roman Petrov, Konstantin, Jesse Dos Santos, Sergey, and Nikolai. As well as we got Igor out there and Daniel. My goodness. Grigory Andreev is currently the first place driver, first place pilot in the season bracket. And he's going against Roman Petrov. We're going to let these drivers warm up, and then we'll get back into this action. Here we go. We got our drivers coming out here. Grigory Andreev versus Roman Petrov. Whoa. There might be some connection issue going on right now. Here we go. Grigory Andreev is in the lead. Beautiful initiation on that first outer zone. And Roman Petrov bobbles a bunch on that first outer zone. But he is just trying to drive and keep the proximity right off the rip on this inner clip all the way to outer zone 2. And it looks like Roman Petrov just gets knocked off course, maybe. I have no clue what just happened there. It seemed like he just bobbled really bad, but it might have been a reaction maybe from connection. That was a weird correction that Roman had. Staying in drift, though. Great job from him. Here comes Grigory. Trying to keep the chase run as clean as possible. Roman Petrov just doing a lead lap here, trying to fill out each zone as much as possible. He was shallow on some of the zones so far. But then diving in to this outer zone 2, a little bit shallow entry on that one. Going into inner clip that is leading to the final outer zone. That's shallow as well. But then going all the way through. I'm a little confused. But here goes Gregory Andriff getting the win. Moving on this bracket. Taking one step closer to sealing the deal. Now we have Jesse Dos Santos. Someone I'm not familiar with. Well, I'm excited to see him compete. Constantine is out here in that A80 Supra. Jesse Dos Santos is being as squirrely as possible. It's going to be a rerun. Doing a countdown in chat. As Jesse couldn't see that. But coming in to this first outer zone, Constantine was a little bit shallow. And then tire dropping off of those rumble strip. Constantine is just filling out each zone as much as possible. Jesse is just staying there. Oh no! An over rotation from Jesse Dos Santos. And that is unfortunate in the chase. Really aggressive snaps and angle. But Constantine was able to secure a lead lap. Let's see how Jesse performs out here with that GTR. Jesse Dos Santos filling out each zone. Let's see how Jesse does. Beautiful driving from Jesse. Very consistent. And what happened there? What is going on? Constantine went off course, then back on course. What a huge angle. I'm so unsure on what is going on that lap. But Jesse Dos Santos is filling out each zone like a gangster. And Jesse gets the win and moves on. Wow. That was crazy to watch. My brain hurts. What happened there? There we go. Daniel in the chase. Sergey in the lead. Both with IVDC public cars. Sergey doing a great job filling out the first out of zone. And I think Daniel got a little bit too spicy right off the rip. Tire drop into the grass a little bit too on that transition into that first interclip. Sergey is doing a beautiful job with that BMW, just ripping through each zone. And Daniel is just keeping that proximity as much as possible, dabbing that left foot brake throughout some of the zones. But Sergey is just slanging that thing side to side, filling out as deep as possible. Man, that was insane. Great lead run from Sergey. It's great to see these guys running the public cars, because it proves that anybody can compete in these competitions with the public cars and be a gangster like these two are. Initiating as aggressively as possible on that first out of zone, but Danny is struggling, bobbling huge on that first interclip, forcing the chase driver to kind of joke up on that now going into outer zone 2. He is beautiful going into that final under clip, but it looks like a mistake was made in the chase, maybe. The judges are definitely going to be looking at that, see who's at fault. As we watch the replays, I am just astonished of what happened. It was a great lead lap from Sergey, and then the chase was a little bit shaking. Danny and the other judges are looking to see what's going on. See who caused the mistakes. It looks like Danny gets the win and moves on. And we have our next drivers coming up. Nikolai versus Igor. Igor's in that RX-7. Nikolai is in that S chassis. Here comes Nikolai, that Black Drift S chassis. And Igor with that RX-7 being as rowdy as he can be, just diving as close as possible right off the rip, not letting him lose ground. But man, Nikolai is as gripped up as can be and as fast as possible as can be as well. That car looks very soft going through each zone, locking its angle and just hucking through the track. A little bit of left foot braking from Nikolai, and Igor is a little bit shaky behind him. Now we have Nikolai in the chase, Igor in the lead. Here we go. Igor, beautiful initiation from Igor with that RX-7. Filling out that first out of zone, but there is a tire drop from Igor. A little bit of a bobble from Igor, and it looked like Nikolai had to back off to keep proximity. There is not as much angle as Nikolai was pouring on in the lead lap, but Igor is just filling out each zone as aggressive as he can be. All the way through into this final outer zone. Trying to tandem with the car with the smaller wheelbase in the lead as they struggle. but Nikolai gets the win and moves on. And now we're gonna see the Grade A battles. Or actually, this is the top 16 battles. This is the winner moves on to the Grade A. You got Gregory Andreev versus Jesse Dos Santos. Gregory Andreev right off the rip, just sending Jesse Dos Santos to the Gapplebees. This is gonna look like an inactive chase, but now here comes Jesse diving in as fast as possible, gaining that proximity right off the rip, and then there's some contact made on the transition, and it looks like Jesse is just driving through. Gregory Andreev just has to finish the lap out. Oh, possible miscommunication. Yep, they're gonna rerun the first one. That's why there was such a huge gap. Jesse can't see the lights, so they have to do a countdown in chat. That's why there was a huge gap right off the rip. Gregory Andreev filling out that first outer zone. Here comes Jesse tapping the door of Gregory Andreev. Gregory is doing a good job being unfazed by that little knock on that door. Snap from Jesse. Same spot where Jesse snapped that huge angle. But here it comes all the way through. Gregory Andreev doing a great job in the lead. Jesse is putting up a fight right here. So this final outer zone, diving into the pocket, getting door to door, all the way through into this outer zone. Wow. Jesse Dos Santos was playing with my heartstrings right there because I thought they were falling back, but then diving back forward. There we go. Jesse Dos Santos in the lead now with that R35. A GTR coming in and filling out that first outer zone. Beautiful job right there. Filling out each zone so far, going through this power alley of chicanes. And my goodness, Gregory Andreev, a huge correction in the chase. Jesse Dos Santos is doing a beautiful job feeling out each zone and going into this final outer zone. Wow, almost goes completely off track, was able to reel it in. And Gregory Andreev gets the win. Moves on. Next driver we got going up is Daniel versus Nikolai. Daniel is going to be in the chase, and Nikolai is going to be in the lead. 2 S chassis, 1 custom, 1 public pack. Nikolai doing a good job just snapping into that first outer zone. Looks like a tire drop on that first outer zone, but going in and diving right into each zone so far. Oh no, Daniel does tire drop in the chase, forces a contact, and that is a big mistake from Daniel. But they're continuing on to drift through this lap just for the enjoyment to this final outer zone. Just switch sides. Daniel in the lead. Nikolai in the chase. Oh, nice initiation from Daniel. Nikolai is just keeping that proximity right there. Oh, a little bit of contact made on the inner clip 1. Inner clip 2 is good. Nikolai is transitioning a little bit too early, but staying in that pocket in the chase. But man, Daniel is doing a great job as a lead driver, giving Nikolai the door that he needs for each zone to be able to mimic and mirror the lead driver. And Nikolai gets the win and moves on. Now we're gonna have Gregory Andreev versus Nikolai to move on to the final. This is our grade A battle. Gregory Andreev in the lead. Nikolai in the chase. You guys have competed against each other multiple times. Gregory Andreev filling out that first out of zone, and Nikolai just diving right into the pocket. Looks like he was struggle to keep and drift a little bit, trying to clutch kick his car to stay at angle. Gregory Andreev is doing a great job just being smooth like he can be on each lap he has done today. Using throttle modulation all the way through, a little bit of left foot braking to kind of get an angle to that final outer zone. We're gonna have these guys switch sides. Nikolai versus Gregory. Nikolai in the lead, Gregory in the chase with the Ferrari. Coming in, beautiful initiation, diving into the pocket, using some left foot braking all the way through to keep that momentum going and staying as close proximity as possible. Giving him some room in this power alley, something unique. And now he's diving right back into the pocket and reeling them in. Nikolai is doing a great job in the lead as well. Gregory Andreev is just keeping that proximity consistent and diving in, not even touching Nikolai throughout the track. And Nikolai gets the win. The drivers and judges are discussing it. To figure out what's going on and what caused it. But we have our bracket here. We already got our left side of the bracket done. We're on the bottom right side of the bracket. Gregory Andreev gets knocked out of the bracket. That might have still sealed the deal for him to be in first. Alexei Avakov has the opportunity to move up in the seeding bracket. And if he takes the full win, I think he will podium from what I was looking at the standings. Now we have our final group until the finals. You got Nathan Ferreira out here. You also have Pasha and German Golubev. And a couple of these drivers are not pretty new, but new from my eyes on this series, which is awesome to see because they could shake up the bracket a little bit and get everybody a little bit rattled. But we have German out here with the Dodge Viper. You have Pasha with the A80 Supra. German's been doing a great job at getting into the show. We'll see how he performs out here. Oh no, some contact made right off the rip from German. Trying to keep that proximity as tight as possible. But Pasha is doing a good job to get back online and fill out each zone. Diving in and stabilizing angle. German's super aggressive, making some contact as well through to his final outer zone. Here we go. We got Pasha now in the chase. German in the lead. I'm out here to shake up the bracket. A tire drop from German. In that first outer zone. And now here comes Pasha, just keeping the proximity, being as clean as possible. Power alley is good from German. Pasha is just keeping a safe distance from German, and now he's going to reel him in and try to dive as close as possible in this final outer zone. And Pasha gets the win. Next driver, we have Eamon versus Axel. Eamon in the E34 coming in with that initiation in that first outer zone, and Axel is in that Lexus IS 200. Eamon doing a great job just filling out each zone. Beautiful transitions from Eamon all the way through to the final outer zone. A little bit of wavering on there. Let's see how he performs out here in the final inner clip to the final outer zone. I'm excited to see how he snaps the angle right here. Going there, a little bit of a tire drop, some contact made from the chase driver. Now we have Eamon gonna be in the chase. Axel coming in here with the S. Beautiful initiation from Axel. And here's Eamon just coming in here and snapping into angle, but it looks like he had to cut the track just a little bit. This final inner clip of that power alley. Axel is doing a beautiful job in the lead. Eamon is just keeping as much proximity as he can, be a little bit late into that zone, trying to mirror the proximity. It looks like he struggled a little bit on that final outer zone. Axel gets the win and moves on. Got Nathan Ferreira versus Levi. Comes Nathan Ferreira in the R34. Beautiful initiation from Nathan. Oh, goes almost 2 tires off track. Beautiful inner clip. 1, 2, and 3 from Nathan. Here's Levi just being as close as possible. Looks like Nathan is super fast, and Levi had to angle up to slow himself down, but man, Nathan is out there looking like he's on rails. Levi in the lead, or Levy, sorry. Levy in the lead. Levy is just doing a great job with that BMW, filling out that first outer zone, going into the first inner clip. Second inner clip is a little bit too deep, possibly. Third inner clip is beautiful. Fourth, a little bit of a tire drop from the lead driver. Levy is doing a beautiful job right there. A little bit of contact made on the outer zone too. Levy is just using some left foot brake into that final inner clip. And here comes that final outer zone. Snap into it. A little bit of left foot braking to keep himself in that zone and all the way through. Judges are going to be looking at these. And Levy gets the win. And moves on. And now we're going to see who Levy is going to be battling in this next one from this winner. Yeah. Jan Mateus, maybe, and Dennis. Young does an initiation, but is very shallow on that first outer zone. Dennis almost goes off track right off the rip. But Jan is doing a great job now, filling out each zone. And Dennis is struggling to keep that proximity up and matching the lead driver all the way through to this final outer zone. What happened there? A little bit of a struggle right off the rip from Dennis in the chase. Almost going off track, but then reeling him in a little bit, but then still kind of cutting track to keep proximity. Comes Jan coming in here with this first outer zone. Let's see if he'll dive right in. Dennis is very shallow on that first outer zone, but coming into this first in the clip, good, fills it out. Second in the clip is good, and third is beautiful, huge angle from Dennis. Going into a fourth inner clip all the way through to this outer zone 2. Beautiful midline way through into his final inner clip, a little bit shallow there too. But now coming into this final outer zone, and John was trying to keep that proximity, using the left foot brake. It's going to one more time battle. John in the lead, Dennis in the chase. John initiating, locks in. Now it's keeping a midline. Before he was a little bit shallow on that first outer zone. Going to inner clip 1 is good. 2 is great. 3 is midline, and then here comes 4, tire drop from Dennis, and then staying forward in the pocket to keep proximity, sacrificing the line to stay in the fight. But John does a great job filling out each zone all the way through. Here comes Dennis. Dennis in the lead, John and in the chase. Beautiful initiation from Dennis. Off track a little bit. Jan is just screaming with that motor to try to keep the proximity, running that limiter as much as possible. Now here he comes, dabbing on that left foot brake. Dennis is doing a great job now in the lead, filling out each zone as much as possible. I think the judges would be able to come up with a decisive winner on this one. And Dennis gets the win. Now we're going to see our grade A battles, our final grade A or top 16 battles. The winner to move on to grade 8. And then after that, we'll see who goes against Nikolai in the podium battles. We got Pasha versus Axel. Pasha going with some style on that initiation. Tire dropping a little bit towards the end of that outer zone, but still super aggressive on each zone. Oh, contact made from Axel. Don't know who's at fault there, but it seemed like Pasha snapped to angle a little bit too spicy, and Axel didn't give him room. Could be a Pasha transition too late. But we're gonna have them switch sides. Pasha in the chase now. Axel in the lead. Here we go. The lights are green. Nice initiation from Axel. A little bit of contact made from Pasha. Slow transition from Pasha as well in the chase, but Axel's doing a great job on filling out each zone as clean as possible, trying to dive into each zone as deep as possible. Pasha is keeping that proximity and losing it a little bit on that final under clip, but diving right back in on that final under zone. Get in the zone. Auto zone. Judges are going to be looking at the replays on this. And if you guys are wondering, it is 9:30 in the morning where I'm living. And it's Sunday. Pizza Sunday. Judges will be looking at these replays to see what's going on. Oh man, comes in here, and Pasha gets the win. Now we're gonna have our battle, Levy going against Dennis. Dennis is going to be in the lead. Levy is going to be in the chase. Levy coming in here. Diving in with that BMW. Levy is out here with some super aggressive surges in this power alley. Dennis is doing a great job. This is a second outer zone, but he is a little bit shallow on that zone. Here comes Levy to try to keep that proximity, fighting that car and struggling on this final outer zone. And now we have Dennis going to be in the chase. Levy in the lead. Levy doing a great job on the first outer zone. And it looks like a huge correction from Dennis. Oh, man. Only had some understeer. And Levy just has to fill out each zone. Go all the way through. Make a complete lap. And this was struggling a little bit. And the chase struggling again. Oh no, forces the contact there. And Levy gets the win. That was the battle to move on to the finals. Pasha versus Levy. Levy versus Pasha. Beautiful initiation from Pasha. Fill out the first outer zone. Going into this power alley, Pasha is a little bit shallow on that first inner clip. Second inner clip is good. Third inner clip, a little bit lazy transition, but still gets it. Towards the end of that power alley, a beautiful job. A little bit left of braking from Pasha to keep himself in that zone. And now here comes that final inner clip, diving into it. With this final outer zone from Pasha. Beautiful lead run from Pasha. Oh, mercy. Here comes Levy in the lead. Pasha in the chase. Oh, some contact made right off the rip on the initiation. And Levy is still fighting through. Getting into this power alley of inner clips. And a little bit of a contact again from Pasha. As Levy is going to outer zone 2, being able to fill it out. Final under clip is good from Levy, and then going into this final outer zone, a huge slowdown from Levy a little bit on that final outer zone, but we'll see what the judges say on this. They're looking at the replay. Let's see who's at fault for the context. And how many mistakes were made. And it looks like Pasha gets the win and moves on to the finals. I want to take a quick break while we get these servers back up and running. And then we'll have our final showdown to see who is finishing this season with a bang, as first, second, and third place podiums will be addressed. right, guys. We are at our top four. Top four, last round of the season. We got some feisty competition going on. This is the final round, the final top four of the season. Let's have some fun with this. I'm gonna incorporate some song lyrics if I can to each battle, and we're gonna have a grand old time right here. All right, we got Alexei Avakov in the lead and Daniel Andrejev in the chase. Alexei Avakov with that R34, Daniel Andrejev with that Nissan S chassis coming in here. Alexei Avakov performing a spectacular on each lap he has done, especially during qualifying. Qualifying P1 all the way through the first outer zone is beautiful. Huge and nice initiation, flicking his car from side to side like he has his arms folded in the club all the way through in this power alley to this second outer zone. Beautiful performance from Alexei, and Daniel just keeping that proximity, staying as close to him as possible, and he's trying to hold him close like he is a Neo song going all the way through. You guys know that song. It's a throwback from the 90s. Daniel Andrejev is now in the lead, and Alexei Avakov is in here in the chase, diving into the pocket right off the rip, almost sends a mock Jesus off the track, but he avoids the contact with some braking on his car all the way through. Daniel Andrejev being as rowdy and rambunctious through each of these interclips. This is power alley to outer zone 2. Beautiful performance right here from Daniel Andrejev in the lead, being snappy and rowdy all the way through, going into this final outer zone. Huge diesel, but Daniel Andrejev just fights through, gets right back on target. My goodness. And they have to look back at the replay to see who is at fault on that decel. I love the style of Daniel Andrejev. His car is really aggressive with each transition and just bringing that tire up there, waving his hands from side to side. Love three-wheeling and drifting. It looks like Daniel Andrejev gets the win, moves on to the podium position. Now we have our next battle to see who is going to be battling Daniel Andrejev for first and second place. And it's going to be Pasha in the lead, Nikolai Groshev in the chase. Pasha out here being a straight pit bull terrier, being as aggressive as he can be, and sinking his teeth in the competition. Here we go. We got Pasha versus Nikolai. Pasha's going to be in the lead. Nikolai's in that S chassis. Pasha's in the A80 Supra. Coming in here. Nice initiation. Flicking it right in there. And Nikolai is just keeping that close proximity right off the rip. Going right into the pocket. Pasha almost misses that first inner clip. Pasha dives into the second and third inner clip like a gangster all the way in this power alley. Now here's that second outer zone, mid to low line, all the way through into this final inner clip. Nice angle all the way through to this final outer zone. Here comes a super, slow down. But my goodness, Nikolai was able to keep the proximity, little bit of contact, but more of a tire rub on the door panel of Pasha. Now Pasha's going to be coming up to the line. Nikolai out here in the lead, and Pasha is in the chase. Beautiful initiation from Nikolai. Snapping right into angle, right off the rip on that first outer zone. No correction from Nikolai on that first outer zone. Fills out that first inner clip very deep, all the way into this third inner clip, all the way through to the second outer zone. Oh my goodness, Nikolai's on a tear right now. Just sinking his teeth as well into this competition, all the way through to his final inner clip. Now is the final outer zone. Let's see how Pasha comes in, dives into the pocket, and stays close proximity throughout. This one is a tight one. And Nikolai gets to win. Now the battle for third place is going to commence. Pasha going to be battling Alexei. Alexei in that R34. You got a public IVDC car in the finals. Alexei Avikov coming in here with that R34. Beautiful initiation in that first out of zone. Pasha makes contact right off the rip. It looks like Alexei is a little bit phased by it, but Pasha is going to come back in and try to get that close proximity yet again, using that left foot braking to stay right there in that power alley, going all the way through to the second outer zone. Beautiful angle from Alexei, and here's Pasha with that A80 Supra diving in and mirroring the angle, falling back just slightly so he could dive, using the momentum to keep that pocket, but no, phases back just a tad. And Alexei is coming in here in the chase. Did a great job in the lead, but was pushed off track a little bit from Pasha. Here comes Pasha coming in with the 80 Supra. Beautiful initiation from Pasha as well. Alexei is just trying to keep that proximity. Had to wait a little bit on that transition, but still able to give him some room. I think he's going to give him room on this power alley and then dive right back into the pocket in outer zone 2. And here he comes, surging right there, sticking it right to his door all the way through, breaching clear in this final inner clip. And here it comes to the final outer zone. Alexei is being feisty all the way through. And we'll see who wins on this battle as the judges will look at the replay, as we are here at the final round of IVDC, where it's a party in the USA. Gonna put my hands up with my... Sorry. You got the judges looking at the replays to see what's going on. Who made more mistakes? Who caused them? Man, this is very intense. And Alexei Avakov gets the win and moves into the third spot on the podium. And I'm getting a message in chat. Daniel Andrejev, yes, sir, you are a gangster. Let's see if Daniel Andrejev comes out here and is doing nothing but a G thing, baby. Going into his first outer zone and initiation point. Here he comes, Daniel Andrejev, snapping that initiation right there and locking in. But Nikolai is keeping that proximity right off the rip. Daniel Andrejev is just rocking and rolling through each zone. A little bit of a contact made, but Daniel Andrejev just bumps it off, rides through it, and keeps fighting through each zone. And here comes Nikolai being super aggressive on that final inner clip, staying that close proximity, door to door, side to side, all the way through to this final outer zone. Beautiful performance from both of these drivers. Man. Here comes Nikolai coming in the lead. Final battle or final lap, possibly, in this series. Nikolai, beautiful initiation. Here comes Daniel Andrejev, just keeping that proximity as much as possible, just using all momentum to stay right there at the door. A little bit of a gap right here, but here comes Daniel Andrzej keeping that proximity on that second outer zone. Beautiful performance from Nikolai in the lead, giving them that beautiful lead run. And Daniel Andrzej is right there all the way through to this final outer zone. And my goodness, this is how we have a party in the USA with IVDC. Guys are just doing donuts, celebrating their victories. They both know that they're going to be in the podium. We already know that Alexei Avakov won in third place. It looks like the judges have made the decision. Nikolai Groshev gets the win. First place. Daniel Andrzej gets second. Alexei Avakov gets third place. Beautiful performance from these guys. I am here, your host, Instructor Tiny, or also known as Jonathan Tiny Warbe. Been a crazy ride out here for this IVDC, guys. Loving the performance that each and every one of them has done. Alexei Avakov coming out here and getting a podium position with the IVDC public pack. This has been a showcase. And later on, the guys from IVDC will announce who won the season in total. But man, I want to thank you guys, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your year. Until next time, I'm signing out.